we're back. This is live at the Center from the Center for Performing Arts at Rhinebeck. Once again, the show that asks the question, yeah, what? So this month, big show, Johnny Dell production of Miss Saigon, opening on May the 2nd and running through the 25th. And that would be Friday night, Saturday night, 8 p.m., Sunday, 3 p.m. Tickets are $26, $24. You can call us Tuesday through Saturday between the hours of noon and 5, 876-3080. You'll talk to Eileen. She'll gladly take your money. If you don't want to talk to anybody on the phone, you can do this online, www.Center for Performing Arts. 7 days a week. 24 hours a day. I'm amazed. You know, people actually buy tickets at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why they're doing that, but they are. I have the creative team, half of the, or 1/3 or 1/4 of the creative team, because it's a huge creative team. This is Anna Marie Palecchio, and she is the director. Are you choreographing it too?
No, I'm not.
Who's doing that?
That's done by Michelle Ribble.
Michelle Ribble, who has done lots of work here. And the two stars of Miss Saigon, we have Yarek Zabzinski and Jasmine Rogers. Miss Saigon. So, this is a play, a musical of what? What is this about?
Well, it is about, it's based on Puccini's Madame Butterfly.
Madame Butterfly.
That's right. And it sets it in the war-torn Vietnam.
A musical about Vietnam.
Right.
Who would have thought?
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
And the love story. It's a love story. It's divided by war and united by love.
Which is the way things should be, I guess. And you're playing who?
I'm playing Christopher Scott. He's a Marine that's stationed in Vietnam.
So you're a GI. You're like Pinkerton from Madame Butterfly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. And Jasmine, who are you playing?
Kim.
Kim. And you're a young South Vietnamese lady, is that it?
Yes.
Yeah? And you guys fall in love. And you don't want to give away any surprise endings, but this show is notorious for the big helicopter that comes down out of the sky.
It is.
Yeah. So I don't even want to talk about that because I used to make jokes about that for years. If you want to know where the theater is right now, ladies and gentlemen, we used to say when the show was running, it's about a helicopter landing on stage. But it's more than that. It's got great music.
It's got lovely music.
And you can't go wrong with the story, a Puccini kind of story.
Well, you know, it starts in Saigon in 1975.
Mm-hmm. And the war is over. We're out.
Well, we're not quite out.
Well,
Not
we're
quite
leaving.
out. They're going to leave,
Right.
yes. And she comes from, you know, a family, and she loses her family. And she ends up coming to Saigon to find work, and ends up in a bar. And lo and behold, the Marine comes in, and he instantly, it's one of those love at first sight
Love at first
things.
sight.
Yes, and they get together, and they decide they're going to make a life together, and he wants to get her out of Vietnam, so he pursues that mission with the embassy, and it goes awry, and he ends up back in the United States without her.
Oh,
Sad,
no,
very sad.
no.
Yeah, very sad.
Very
And,
sad. But it's a strong bicultural theme, which is really one of the great things about the show. I mean, it's serious important. It's not fluff.
Well, I mean, you know, it's reality. The children of Huidoy, which are the American Asian children. I mean, the Americans didn't want to deal with them, and the French didn't want to deal with them, and you know, it's real. This is real. This is not caricature. This is real life.
Yeah. Yasmin, this is not your first show here, is it?
Yes.
It is your first show here?
Yes.
Oh, and where have you worked previously?
Oh God. Well, Duchess, because I went there. I'm still going there.
You're still there?
I'm still
Studying
there.
theater?
This is my last. I'm on the home stretch
Home
to
stretch.
graduation.
Is Kevin one of your teachers, Kevin Archambault?
He was last semester.
Last semester?
We did rent.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
Jonah.
Oh, how nice. Yeah.
County players.
Uh-huh.
I was T Moon in Once in This Island and Hebka and Aida.
Uh-huh.
He was in it too. And Trinity players. I was in Chess and Weird Romance.
And Yarek, you've been here how many times?
This is my third show here, I think. My first show here was Into the Woods.
Right. First time.
The first time,
The
10
first
years
time.
ago.
Right.
I was in Company, and most recently I did Producers a few years back. And now I'm doing the Saigon here. I've also done a lot in Wappingers with County Players.
So you've worked with Anna Marie quite a bit.
Yeah, this is probably what, our fourth or fifth show together?
Something like that.
Something like
we
that.
started. We met when I directed Cabaret years ago at County
At
Players.
County. Now, this is your first show here.
It is. Well, technically it is. We brought in last 5 years, a couple years ago, there was
Yes,
a Trinity show,
right,
but
right.
we came in and did a weekend here.
Oh, you had directed that?
I did.
Oh, how cool. And how do you like working here?
I love it.
You can
It's
say
great.
whatever you want.
No, I love it. It's, I mean, you know, I told you once before when we chatted a little bit.
Right.
It is. I live in Wappinger, so it's a little bit of a distance.
Right.
But I mean, I think that's one of the, you know, one or the only real drawback.
Yes,
Is
it is.
just getting in the car late at night.
And
watching
have you worked
out
with
for the
Johnny?
deer.
Johnny Dell is the producer of this show.
Yes, I've directed Johnny when we did
Sweeney
Sweeney Todd
Todd.
at County Players
Right.
and Jekyll and Hyde, and also he was Dave in Full Monty when I did that as well.
And then he did that here.
He did.
Yeah.
Yes. He did.
And so now, so Johnny's the producer, you're the director, Michelle Ribble is choreographer,
And-
Andy Weintraub is set, which is part of the set, all of this behind us.
And Joel Flowers is
And
our
Joel
musical
Flowers is the musical director.
director.
And Cheryl is costumes?
She is.
Yeah,
We
wow.
have quite a team.
You do
Mark
have a team.
Waglinski's doing sound.
Right?
Worked with him before many times. He's got, you know, quite a resume. And Scott, you know, from the center, who
Right.
does a lot
Scott
here.
Tunkel.
Yes, yes. He's
So
doing
Jasmine, you're studying theater?
Yes.
You study, and what do you think is going to happen to you when you're done? What are you going to do?
Whatever I want to do.
Are you going to go to New York?
Yes.
You are?
Absolutely.
You're going to crack that market. You're going to get in there and be a star.
Yes.
Well, she
Perfect.
certainly has the potential.
I bet.
They both do.
And Yarek, what do you do during the day? You're not an actor 100%.
No, not 100%. This is more of a hobby for me to escape from my crazy life. I'm a music video and film director, cinematographer, so that's kind of my passion, and this kind of is my outlet to get away from all that.
You have a video project now you're doing?
I do. Right now, I'm working with an artist called named Monique Abadi. She's from Miami. She was on The Voice last year,
Uh-huh.
so we just got back from Miami shooting her first big solo music video called Bajo El Sol. So that's going to be coming out sometime next month. So it's
Cool.
kind of that hectic time right now, trying to juggle the show and edit the music video, and
Yeah.
it's just a lot of back and forth, and that's kind of like.
Has
my
Johnny
crazy
talked
life.
to you about resurrecting the producers? Has he said anything to you about that?
Maybe.
That's his dream
Maybe.
for next year.
I'd love to do it again.
I'm a little long in the tooth to be doing the role I played before. We'll see. I don't know. So once again, this is Miss Saigon, and it's opening on May 2nd, runs through May 25th, and Friday, Saturday, 8 p.m., Sunday, 3 p.m. Please come. $26, $24, 876-3080, Tuesday through Saturday between the hours of noon and 5. Always online. Always. 100 hours a day. www.centerforperformingarts.org. Now, do you think you're going to do more work here when this is done?
We'll see.
Yeah?
We'll see what's.
We're trying to put together a schedule right now for 2015. It gets harder and harder every year because suddenly people say, well, we should be doing alternative this and alternative that. And a lot of people feel that rather than being a theater 100% of the time, which is what we are, they want to add more stuff, you know, like living history, seniors coming
Oh,
in and
that's
talking about
interesting.
their lives and time, ecclesiastical music, whoever's got whatever, you know, the place should be open. Maybe once a month for a couple nights, just to do community kinds of things. We'll see what happens, but we're always on the lookout for directors. We always need actors and actresses. So are you having fun doing the show?
Absolutely.
Yeah? And how far, do you feel like ready? No?
No.
Well, you've got,
No.
Not
you've
quite
got
yet.
2 weeks, right?
We do until we
No,
open.
no, no.
Yeah, you know, this is the time warp thing. You understand that, of course. This is airing as of May 1, but we're talking appreciably earlier than May 1. So you're working, yeah?
We have a dynamite cast. We have 27 in our cast.
It's a big cast.
It's a big cast. It's
Yeah.
a big show. I don't know what I was thinking.
Are a lot of them new here? New people, not been at the
I
center?
believe.
Yeah, there's a lot of faces I don't recognize.
I mean, there were a lot of Dutchess students.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard nowadays to find, you know, to round out your cast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great companies in the area, but in Hudson Valley, and you
Yeah.
know, so everyone's doing that main musical. So
Yeah, you
it's
know,
tough.
and we're all stumbling over each other. You know how we are. We're like a factory. We have a show like every week, practically. At least it feels like that. We have like 4 things in rehearsal right now, and it gets harder and harder and harder, particularly men.
I agree.
So hard.
I agree.
So hard to get people. So we're trying to cast the net way, way, way out there. So anytime we get new people, I'm happy.
But I do have several cast members that travel. Our engineer Sal
Yeah.
Polichetti, he comes from Middletown.
Wow.
We have a couple of gals. One comes from Walden, and another from Plattekill and Saugerties, and
That's
you know
been
they're traveling. And one of the other main characters, Jovan Bradley, he comes from Hookway.
Yeah.
So
Windsor.
oh,
New
oh,
Windsor?
New Windsor. There you go.
Oh, that's
See
where
what I
you
mean?
come from?
I
Yeah.
mean,
How long a
that's
trip is that?
Just under an hour.
That's a long, long haul. It doesn't feel like it on the way in, but going home.
Going home, leaving here sometimes at 11:30, it can get pretty brutal getting
And
home.
some of those tech nights, man, they could just go on and on and on. You know, you might as well just rent cot space here.
I asked about that. I was thinking about going into the Rhinebeck and maybe getting some at the Beekman.
Well, we've got the two
Whatever.
beds that are going to be
For
on
the
stage.
week.
Well, you know, if you're serious about that, we have friends who run some of the hotels, motels, beds and breakfasts. Would be a lot cheaper than going.
I kind of was serious. I
Well,
mean,
chat with me later
I
and we'll
will.
figure it out. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, Anna Marie, and Yarek, and Yasmin, Miss Saigon, and you can't miss it, 845-876-3080. Tuesday through Saturday, noon to 5, always online, www. Center for Performing Arts. We're going to take a short, the screen's going to go blank, and then it's going to come up again, and Yarek and Yasmin are going to be at the piano, and they're going to sing. So, see you in a bit.
Joined by the gods of fortune, midnight and high noon, sharing the sky. We had
where life still has worth, I will take you.
I'll go with you.
You won't believe all the things you'll see. I know 'cause you'll see them all with me. If we're together, that's when we'll hear it again. A song played on a solo saxophone. A crazy sound, a lonely sound, a cry that tells us love goes on and on. Played on a solo saxophone. It's telling me to hold you tight and dance like it's the last night of the world.
Dreams were all I ever knew.
Dreams you won't need when I'm through. Anywhere we may be, I will sing with you our song. Played on a solo saxophone. So stay with me and hold me tight and dance like it's the last night of the
And we're back. I want to thank Anna Marie, who is here to my right, and joining her is Joel Flowers, who is the musical director for Miss Saigon, and we did hear a number two numbers from the show. Jasmine, I said Yasmin before. I was doing like the Far Eastern production. So Jasmine Rogers and Yarek Zibzinski, who are both in the show. And once again, Miss Saigon playing May 2nd through 25th here at the center, 876-3080. Tuesday through Saturday, noon to 5. You can order a ticket. Or you can go online, www.centerforperformingarts.org. So, Joel, you have been here a couple of times with George Conrad,
Correct,
accompanying
yes.
George, but you've never been a musical director here for a show, have you? Is this your
No,
first
this
time?
is my first.
But you've musical directed shows. I mean,
Yes,
you've
many.
directed other shows. What shows have you worked with Anna Marie before?
We have worked a lot together.
Yeah.
We don't work without each other.
You don't. So
Well, I should
did he do your Sweeney Todd?
All of
Yes.
them.
Oh, he did all your shows.
We're like a husband and wife team,
Started with Chorus Line, I think, in '96.
something like that,
maybe.
90s, 95, 96.
Was that at County Players?
Yes.
Chorus line? Wow, that's great. Now, are you were with the West Point Orchestra? Is that correct?
No, I had worked for the Army for over 30 years. In Germany and various places here, and my last position happened to be at West Point, and so I retired from there.
You were in the service.
No, I was a civilian working. I had the best part.
So
of
you were
being
like a civilian
with
contractor.
the Army.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, not a contractor really, but
Yeah.
but I had all the fun stuff and none of the hard military stuff.
Wow. So what were you doing at West Point?
An administrator over various recreation programs, that sort of thing.
Ah, I thought you had been doing music with them.
I did. I was an entertainment director in Germany for 13 years
Huh.
before coming to West Point. And then I got promoted into and out of something I liked doing into something that I guess needed to be done.
So I want to ask you about is it fun to work together? Because obviously it is because you've done so much.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes it's not.
I said it's like a
Come on,
husband and
hear
wife
that stuff.
relationship, and I truly mean that. We have our love
Moments.
and our hate.
Yes.
So in terms of the scores, this easy, hard, and how's it been?
I think it's very difficult.
Yeah.
We have a cast of wonderful leads. And we have a very good ensemble cast. It's a large ensemble.
Yeah, she said 27 people.
And some of the music is difficult.
Uh-huh.
But they're coming on, they're doing a great job.
Yeah. The most difficult thing about it is what? I mean, is it a huge range or?
There, for the ensemble, well, there are huge ranges for most of the cast members. The ensemble, there's some very, very high tenor parts. It calls for like rock tenors and that sort of thing. And it's very difficult to do, but they're coming along.
No, they sounded great. Sounded great. And your biggest challenge, I mean, you don't do just musicals, you've done other things, right?
Basically 99% musicals.
Is that by choice, or is that just because somebody said, here, this is the show I want you to do, and
I think I slipped into doing musicals and people tapped me on the shoulders for them, and I really love them. I love the dark musicals, although I've done others, but I
well,
love
Sweeney
the
Todd,
Sweeney,
obviously, and
Cabaret.
this is not Oklahoma. Even though
Exactly.
Oklahoma, that's wrong. That's like, this is not How to Succeed in Business.
Exactly.
You know, it's all silliness.
Well, and Johnny knew that I really wanted to do this show,
Yeah.
and I haven't been able to convince a company that we could do it.
Uh-huh.
Because every time we talk about Miss Saigon, they'll say, well, what about the helicopter?
Ah.
And what about the Asian population? And what about, and I'm
The
like,
Cadillac.
we can, the Cadillac, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyway,
But you can overcome anything.
we can,
Yeah.
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 Just have to put a little ingenuity and creativity into
You
it.
have something percolating that might be next?
I have been asked to direct next fall in County Players.
What, you know what you're doing?
We'll be doing The Marvelous Wonderettes, which
I
is a
don't know
bubblegum
that.
musical, but
I don't know that.
it's four girls that back in 1958, the first act is their senior prom,
Uh-huh.
and the second act is 10-year reunion, and it's all 50s and 60s music, or 60s and 70s.
No, it's late 50s, 60s.
Oh, it is 50s.
Are you
60s,
doing
that's right.
you're
Yes.
doing music?
Course.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
I've done it before, and the songs are great.
Do you have something else happening for you between now and then, or?
A break.
A break. Yeah, it's hard going from one thing to the other, to
Yeah,
the other, to
it
the other.
really
I mean,
is.
around here, that's all we do. I mean, you're in a show, you're rehearsing a show,
true.
and you're thinking about the next show. It's crazy, crazy. Now, did you study theater? Is that your?
I started when I graduated high school. I was a theater major and a dance minor,
Yeah.
and I grew up in Indiana, so I went to Ball State University.
Oh.
And I started there, and I just after about a semester or two, I realized it just wasn't going to happen.
What wasn't going to happen?
I just didn't see myself to have that great a talent to be able to go to New York.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah, I did. And so I took it as a theater minor and dance minor, and I went into education, became a teacher.
Well, that's kind of acting. Yeah.
Well, I figured this. I mean,
She's
hobby is a passion, and theater's a passion. And
So how did you fall into the directing thing? How did that happen?
I went to work at Marlboro when I first moved to New York, and they didn't have a theater program there, and I just said, you guys got to do. You have to do
This is
theater.
high school,
Yes.
and you created their theater program?
Well, I didn't create it, but it was kind of like dead.
Limping along.
Yes.
What was the first show you did there?
Pure as the driven snow.
Is that a melodrama?
It is.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
From the 19th century? Is
I
it-
don't know. I don't remember. It's been so long ago. It's a crazy little melodrama.
How funny.
Yeah.
Joel, you've always been a musician. You studied music?
Yes.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Furman University in South Carolina, and I went to George Peabody College for Teachers, which is part of Vanderbilt University, for my master's.
Uh-huh.
And that's it, I guess. That was
And-
ages ago.
Yeah, ages ago. Now, do you do other kinds of music other than musical
Oh,
theater?
yes,
Do you
yes,
perform in
yes.
concert?
Yes. When I was especially when I was in Germany, I performed with classical singers a lot, and I did some theater there too,
Huh.
professional theater in Berlin, and I've performed with various people there, opera singers and that sort of thing, and that's what I like at cabarets, that kind of thing. Years and years ago, I played piano in a restaurant. Wasn't making enough money teaching school, so I did that.
You had a little mug, you had a mug or a glass on the...
I made more than I did teaching.
Sure, I bet you
school.
did. I bet you did. Well, best of luck. I mean, this is great. The show is running now, ladies and gentlemen, May 2nd through May 25. Miss Saigon here at the Center for Performing Arts, and 876-3080, Tuesday through Saturday between the hours of noon and 5. Tickets are $26, $24. This is a Johnny Dell production, the great Johnny Dell. He and I have formed a wonderful relationship. around theater, sushi, and scotch, but that's another story. You can always go online, www.centerforperformingarts.org. And we're back, and thanks once again to everybody from Miss Saigon, Yarrick, Jasmine, Joel, Anna Marie, and don't forget that show opens on May the 2nd, runs through the 25th, Friday, Saturday, 8 p.m., Sunday, 3 p.m. You call us for tickets, 876-3080, Tuesday through Saturday between the hours of noon and 5, and the lovely Eileen Contrini will take your reservation. And if you don't want a phone, you have something about the phone, you have a phobia about telephones or something, always online, www.centerforperformingarts.org, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 3 o'clock in the morning, you wake up and you say, I've got to go to the theater. Well, there you go. You can order a ticket. With me now is Mr. Nick Staley. Nick, nice for you to be here.
Thank you.
Nick is on the board of one of the largest and best organizations in the town of Rhinebeck, Ferncliff Forest. And you say you've been on that board how long?
30 years.
30 years. Now, for people who don't know, and I can't imagine anybody wouldn't know, but there are probably some people who are unaware, exactly what is Ferncliff, where is Ferncliff, and what's the point of Ferncliff?
Okay, Ferncliff Forest is a 200-acre forest and game preserve which was donated to the Rhinebeck Rotary in 1963 at the request of my father, Homer Staley Sr., to be forever wild game and forest preserve. We're open every day of the year during daylight hours. We have camping, picnicking, hiking, mountain biking. We don't allow motorized vehicles. And we have a wonderful pond which we're restoring now, which we really need some help with. And I'll talk about that maybe a little later.
Volunteers? Sure. You're always looking for volunteers?
Always looking for volunteers. We'd love everyone to like us on Facebook. That's how I communicate with our volunteers. I am the ranger and the secretary-treasurer, do the day-to-day operations of the forest, which is a 501c3, and your donations are tax exempt. And you can send those to Post Office Box 1 in Rhinebeck. Yes, we have the first post office box in Rhinebeck, thanks to my dad, who got that in 1934. And so the forest is very important to Rhinebeck. It is Rhinebeck's #1 free attraction. Obviously,
no fee to get in.
No fee ever. And we do ask for donations if you're camping. We have weddings and other special events there, mainly used by the Scouts and the Girl Scouts, and a lot of education goes on there from Bard College for environmental education. So we're quite busy. I'm not quite sure of the total number of guests, but I know we go through about 6,000 trail maps a year that I put in our kiosks, which is where our brochures and trail maps are. That indicates to me these are people who haven't been there before.
That's right.
Because most of the locals that go daily, and a lot of them do, to walk their dogs or to enjoy the forest, don't need a trail map.
So there's no prohibition about dog walking. Obviously, people have to clean up.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And we ask you now to keep your dog on a leash. We didn't, that's a new rule because we have a beaver dam now and some beavers living in the forest, and some of the dogs that were running loose, and people do, some people do allow their dogs to run loose, we're pawing at the dam. So we ask you now to have your dog on a leash.
What other wildlife is there in the forest?
Just about everything you would expect. Occasionally we have rare things like bears.
Black bear.
Black bears, and we've had coyotes, but mainly the normal things, deer, rabbit, chipmunks, and all that. But one of the things that my dad enjoyed doing in the later parts of his years, and he was the first ranger starting in 1963, was he would get the leftover stuff from Lebowski's farm market and go up and he would feed the animals and feed the fish. But Mount Ruxton Pond, which is an 8-acre pond, silted in and was almost on the verge of being destroyed by Phragmites, which are terrible invasive weeds that our DEC here in New York just hates. So we are on a project right now to restore Mount Ruxton Pond to its original beauty, and that's quite expensive, much more expensive than we originally thought. It's going to run close to $200,000
To restore the pond.
to
A lot of
restore the
money.
pond. A lot of
So
money.
donations are tax exempt, tax deductible, and you'll give the address later where people can get in touch with
Absolutely,
you.
I'll give it again.
And you have a website as well.
We have a website, ferncliffforest.org.
Okay. Now, you were telling me before, now, you're the 6th generation to be in Rhinebeck, so your family came here first in what year would that be?
I'm not really sure. My great-great-grandfather, I think I said as many greats, Christian Staley Sr. came to work for General Armstrong at Rokeby. And his son, Christian Jr., I actually know where he lived. He lived in Red Hook on West Market Street. And then he had a son, Charlie, who was one of Rhinebeck's highway superintendent, but he liked to call himself the pathmaster. And he had to be elected just like our highway superintendent. And I have one of his campaign signs, and it said that anyone who called Rhinebeck a one-horse town never cleaned the streets. Because that was his main job, and I do have a picture of him behind a horse-drawn wagon, throwing the street manure on the back of the wagon. He was quite a character. I'm sorry I never knew him.
Now, you, Ferncliff, you don't do that full-time. You still run the agency.
I run Staley Real Estate, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's right down the road here.
Right down the road in the old
Yeah.
mill on the Schuyler estate.
Uh-huh.
Yep, it's General Schuyler's son, Philip.
Now, if you don't know how to get to Ferncliff Forest, what is the easiest way? Where is it? How do I get there?
Coming from the south, you would just turn onto Montgomery Street by the hospital as you're going north on Route 9, and bear left on Mount Rutson Road. Our sign is right there at 68 Mount Rutson Road. We're just expanding the parking lot because the parking lot's been overflowing into Mount Rutson Road. If you're coming from the north, the best way is to take River Road off of the bridge approach, the Kingston Bridge approach, and go south on River Road and then bear left on Mount Rutson, and our park lot is there. We have 200 acres that fronts both on River Road and Mount Rutson, but our parking lot is on Mount Rutson.
It's not fenced in, the property.
Not at all. And of course, our major attraction is our 80-foot fire tower that was replaced in 2007.
And people are allowed to go up?
Every day of the year. It's one of the safest fire towers in the state. All of the wooden steps were replaced with steel grating like a fire escape and welded in. And our cab has been entirely welded inside so the kids can't take it apart. But it's a fantastic, just beautiful view of the Hudson Valley.
Now, do you have annual members so that you have a pretty good idea of what an operating budget could be? Do you have people who sustain you?
Yes, we have a list of contributors that we solicit every year in different categories, and that mailing goes out. And then we have our turkey trot every Thanksgiving, every morning, which is our major fundraiser. And we have over 40 local sponsors for that event. And to reward our sponsors, if you look on our kiosk, you will see a large sign with every business in the Rhinebeck-Red Hook area that sponsors that event. I want the people who use the forest to understand which businesses are supporting the forest.
Sure, it's very
But
important.
there's also hundreds of private donors, which are listed on the back of our map. If you see our trail map, on the back you'll see the hundreds of people who donate money to Ferncliff Forest.
So once again, if I want to donate or if I want to volunteer, let's talk about donating. If I want to donate, the address and the website, can I donate online?
You can. If you go on our website, you can email me and with a donation. We do not take credit cards, but you can get all our information. But the main thing to remember, we're Post Office Box 1 in Rhinebeck 12572, and make it out to Ferncliff Forest.
And the website again is?
ferncliffforest.org.
Okay. Anything else we need to know? I mean, it's obviously, is Sally Mazzarella still involved with you? She was at one point, wasn't
No, Sally was never on our board.
she? She's Winnicky?
She's Winnicky Land Trust. We are a member of the Alliance of Land Trust. It gets us very inexpensive insurance. But we're private. We're a private foundation, and we take no tax dollars. We don't take any government money.
No government money.
Just from places like the Frost and Thompson Trust is where we get most of our donations, large donations in our. And of course, we have received money from people in their wills, including my father and my great Aunt Lucy.
Once again, Ferncliff Forest, Mr. Nick Staley, one of the premier attractions. This is why people come to Rhinebeck. So thanks so much, and we will thank you, Nick,
Thank
and we'll
you for having me.
see you next month.
There's no business
business like show business like no business, I know. Everything about it is appealing, everything the traffic will allow. Nowhere could you get that happy feeling